All right, let's talk about something really cool. You know how there's a secret language hidden right there in your sheet music? Well, today we're going to crack that code. It's all about these little symbols that tell you not just what notes to play, but how to play them. And trust me, it's what turns a bunch of notes into actual powerful music. So, have you ever had this happen? You're practicing a piece, you've nailed every single note, your rhythm is perfect, but for some reason, it just sounds kind of robotic, a little flat? Yeah, it's a super common feeling. But what if I told you the solution has been hiding in plain sight this whole time? It's because the notes, they're really only half the story. Seriously. Think of the notes and rhythms as the skeleton of a song. It's the basic structure for sure, but it's not the whole thing. There's this whole other layer that gives music its personality, its emotion, its soul. And that secret layer, that's called articulation. These are all the little symbols that tell you how to play a note. They're what give the music its character, its emotion, and its life. I like to think of them as the punctuation of music, you know? They're the difference between just reading words out loud and actually telling a story. It's the difference between playing notes and truly making music. Okay, so we're going to break these down into three main categories. First up, let's look at the symbols that control time, flow, and how notes connect to each other. This is all about creating that smooth musical line. First one you probably know, staccato. It's that little dot right above or below the note head. And its instruction is super simple. Play the note short and detached. Now this is really important. It doesn't mean you speed up the tempo. It just means you cut this sound off early, leaving a little tiny bit of space, a pocket of silence, before the next note comes in. This gives the music a really light, crisp, and bouncy feel. Here's the best way to think about it. Imagine that note as a hot stove. You're not going to press down and hold your hand there, right? No way. You're going to touch it for just a split second and pull back. That is the exact feeling of staccato. All right, next up, we have the tenuto mark. It's that little horizontal line you'll see. Now, this is pretty much the exact opposite of staccato. A tenuto mark means you hold the note for its full, complete written value. Maybe even lean into it just a little bit. It gives the note weight and importance. It's like the composer is personally telling you, hey, this note right here, this one matters. Give it its full moment to shine. Okay, this brings us to something that trips up so many musicians, the difference between a slur and a tie. I mean, they both look like a curved line, so it's an easy mistake to make, but they do totally different things. A slur connects different notes, like a C to a D to an E. It tells you to play them all smoothly in one connected breath or bow stroke. That smooth style is called legato. A tie, on the other hand, connects two of the exact same note. It just turns them into one longer sound. So, simple way to remember, a slur creates a smooth phrase, a tie creates a longer note. All right, let's move on to our next group. These articulations are all about adding some punch and power. This is how you make certain notes really pop out and grab the listener's attention. And the most common one you'll see is the accent mark. It looks like a little sideways V. The command here is really straightforward. Play this note with more force, more oomph than the notes around it. It's all about giving that note a stronger attack right at the very beginning to make sure it stands out from the crowd. A perfect way to think about this is writing. When you want a word in a sentence to really have an impact, what do? You put it in bold. Well, an accent mark is basically the musical version of bold text. It's shouting to the listener, hey, pay attention to this note. But here's the thing. Not all emphasis is created equal. Composers actually have a few different levels of intensity. So you've got your standard accent for a strong start. Then you have marcato, that little rooftop-looking symbol. That's even stronger. It means play the note loud and short. And then, for the most drama possible, you have sforzando, which you'll see as SFC. This is just a sudden, shocking burst of sound. It really is like a musical jump scare. Okay, on to our final category. And this is where things get really dramatic. Let's call these the special effects of music. These are the marks that add suspense, big moments, and we'll even see how composers can combine different articulations to create brand new instructions. First up, we have the fermata. You might have heard people call it the bird's eye because, well, it kind of looks like one. So whenever you see this symbol over a note, or even a rest, it's like the composer is hitting a giant pause button on the music. You're meant to hold that note for longer than it's written. For how much longer exactly? Well, that's the fun part. It's up to the performer or the conductor to decide. It's a moment of pure musical drama. And like I said, composers can get creative and combine these symbols. A really common one is seeing a staccato dot with an accent mark over the same note. So let's break it down. The dot tells you to play it short. The accent tells you to play it loud. So what do you get when you put them together? You get a note that is both short and loud. It's a really sharp, forceful, detached sound. Learning to read these combos is a huge step up in your playing. So, as you can see, these little marks are so much more than just random dots and lines on a page. They're the tools that let you actually speak through your instrument, to turn a simple melody into a story that's packed with emotion. Honestly, learning articulation is like getting a musical superpower. It's what lets you turn a string of notes into a real musical sentence. It lets you inject your own personality into the music while still playing it just the way the composer imagined. This, right here, is the real difference between just playing the right notes and actually making incredible music. So now you know the code. You understand the secret language. You're not just a note player anymore. You're a storyteller. So the next time you sit down to practice, really look for these symbols. They are your roadmap to making your music so much more exciting. So the only question left is, what story are you going to tell?